Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Open Book. I am Billy Price, co-founder of BILLY Footwear, and I am your host today, as always. So today on the screen today, we have two fantastic women, both loving moms, loving wives. They are just two moms, and we'll hear more about that in just a moment. But they had an idea, and it started small, and it grew into something much bigger. And I'm just so excited to allow them to share. On screen with us, we have Larkin and Jessica. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for
So
having us.
I think a great place to start would be how just two moms turned into how it's growing and how it turned into the Common Ground Society.
Okay, well, it began about 4 years ago, I believe. 3?
Yeah.
Well, I moved up here from LA and was very much out of my fishbowl. I, left behind my tribe and my friends and my community. And, I just felt very alone, but was like determined to find my people again. And so my daughter, I have 3 kids. My middle daughter, Annalise, has Down syndrome, and she was going to a little summer school program, and I was kind of crying to her teacher about how I just needed some friends, real sad. And then the next day she handed me a little Post-it note with a couple moms' names and phone numbers on them, and just said, I think you would really get along with these moms. You should give them a call. And so I did, and literally I think that week we got together at Starbucks and got to know each other, and it was just, we were kind of instant friends and sisters, and ended up enrolling both of our kids into the same preschool. It's a full inclusion preschool in Santa Rosa, and just kind of began this journey together. And really this all sprang just from a presentation that we did at our kids' preschool for World Down Syndrome Day. It's March 21st. And so we approached the school, asked if they would let us talk to their kids, and they were all about it. And so we literally just kind of threw something together. Luckily, Larkin's a teacher, and so she's real good at all of that. And I was just kind of along for the ride to help out. And anyway, she invited the Press Democrat to come, and so they covered it, and we were in the newspaper. And from there, Larkin's she knows everybody in Sonoma County, by the way. So word spread really fast, and all of her teacher friends started inviting us to their classrooms. And so, of course, we were jumping at the chance to continue talking about inclusion and how to be inclusive. And but we're still moms, and I have 2 other kids. And so it, began to get a little bit, it was a lot. There were a lot of classrooms to visit. And so we eventually shifted to all school assemblies. And so we kind of gave that a go. And it was when we started the assemblies, I think, that the Be the One challenge actually came into play. Was that the first one that we did at Larkin's husband's school? And so I'll let Larkin kind of take it over from there. But it definitely, word spread, and we were just kind of blown away at the eagerness of the schools and the districts to have 2 moms come talk about their kids. I guess you can share more, Larkin, about our actual presentation, but yeah, pretty amazing.
It was really amazing to have our community embrace it so wholeheartedly. We didn't have enough time to go to all the schools. We have been booked with presentations from that first presentation, and we were booked all the way through the school year last year, but unfortunately we didn't get to finish because of COVID. But we share the stories of our lives. We share our kids. We talk about, in our first assembly, we talk about the fact that everybody has strengths and everybody has challenges, but that's okay. And we share the extra work that our kids have to do in order to do simple things like chewing or talking or walking. And we read a really great book called Faith Has Freckles and Walter Has Wheels by Shannon Dee. And we got to know that author, and she's amazing. She has two different books. And so she allowed us to use the book in the assembly. And then the next year came, and we came up with a new assembly, and we wanted to talk more about invisible disabilities. because there is a need out there and a lack of understanding when people need, extra time, when you can't just visibly look at them and say, oh, and so we did that presentation and that took off too. So we were booked all last year with that one. And then COVID hit. And well, in between that, we also started a support group. So in Sonoma County, we have like a local support group where people can share local resources and talk about, their challenges in schools or what schools are helpful, and different things like that are really local to Sonoma County, which has been amazing and grown to over 300 people. And we also do meetups. So before all of this began, we did common ground meetups where we would have like occupational therapists and speech therapists come, and we'd have people come watch the kids so the parents could chat and just, trying to get resources to people because it's such a wild life, and there's so much out there and so much to learn. And my tagline from all of this is, you don't know what you don't know until you know. And there's so much to know. So we like to help people learn all of that.
Yeah. Well, that's so awesome. And there's so much stuff you guys talked about that we could unpack so many different facets of this whole story. And I guess the one thing I would start with is the word inclusion. I mean, the word inclusion, it's been around forever. I mean, but the thing is, right now, it just really feels like right now that word is such a hot word and it's getting so much attention, and it's so inspiring how many people are joining this conversation.
Yeah.
And for you to be able to, start with a presentation with one class, and then all of a sudden to be able to have that same type of conversation expand beyond the classroom into assemblies and then into like districts in the whole city. I mean, the world needs that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's starting it. People are scared to say the wrong thing. People don't know what to do if somebody walks in missing a limb or with a visible disability. People get that like fear inside of them, and they don't want to be mean. They don't want to be rude, but they don't know how to interact. And so, our hope was by sharing the stories of our lives that people would see that like, we're just moms. We're just two moms who love our kids just like you do. And
we also just try to give the kids and really anybody who will listen a starting point. And really it's just to say hello. Let's just start with hello because, and then go from there. I think, because I think what we've encountered with our kids too is that, people do have good intentions, but because of that fear, they tend to just either avoid it altogether and avoid the situation and the kid and the family altogether, or it goes to the other extreme where then they're the targets of bullying and stuff like that. And, and so if we just kind of tell them like, hey, just say hi, get to know each other, ask some questions, and then follow their lead. I mean, because I've definitely been in situations where I encounter somebody with a different disability. I know Down syndrome really well, but I don't know everything else. And I do get uncomfortable sometimes, and I do start to kind of clam up and not know what to say or whatever. And, and it really is just being okay with being a little uncomfortable and acknowledging them and, going from there. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing how powerful the word hello is? It's the ultimate icebreaker. Let's just
with a smile.
Say, no kidding. Hello, how are you today? Boy, it sure is raining today. I guess we would say that for Seattle, maybe not necessarily California.
Oh no, it's pouring out there today.
Okay. So you're based out of Sonoma County. I just out of curiosity, I mean, with the growth that you're experiencing and just the excitement about what's happening, do you see this expanding beyond Sonoma County? I mean, and if that being the case, like how do you approach that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on our website, we, have a lot of different resources, and we are working on adding our presentations to our website. So currently Sonoma County has been in shelter in place since March. So our kids have not been back to school since then. And we have these new presentations, and I'm really excited to get them out there. We have the other 2 presentations we've done, and then a new presentation we're adding, and one that really we could create it for any child who is interested in being a self-advocate and teaching their kids about their school. I'm just at a loss of how to appropriately do that because I'm a teacher. I am not. I apparently am a president of a nonprofit, but like that was not in my deck of cards. This marketing and business is not something I know how to do, so I'm still learning. And with the help of some good friends, we're figuring it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it how you found yourself to being the president of a nonprofit and just kind of the lightning rod of all this amazing stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
So can you share your website? What's your website?
Yeah, our website is commongroundsociety.org.
Okay. And then in terms of finding you on social or something like that, how can we find you?
We on Facebook, we are at Just Two Moms, all words. And then on Instagram, we're at Just Two Moms SR. And Santa Rosa is where we're from. So I had to add that onto the end to make it work.
Oh, got it. So there's on Facebook, and then lastly on Instagram.
And we started those as Just Two Moms because that I don't think that is correct on the screen. But we started it as Just Two Moms because that's what we called ourselves in the beginning. When we incorporated in July into an official 501c3 is when we changed our name to Common Ground Society, which houses our Just Two Moms presentations. And so I've just kept the handle.
Got it. Well, I will say that, it's been interesting with 2020 being the way it has been and, being forced to be able to use technology that we may not have necessarily been doing, in normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
It's amazing how far one can stretch a word just through social media, through Zoom, through FaceTime, through all these different digital medias. Because all of a sudden, the message that you have is incredibly crucial for so many people. And all of a sudden, with the click of a mouse, it can basically spread all the way around the planet without too much trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're working on right now with our new Be the One 2021 campaign. So normally at the end of each presentation, we challenge the students to be the one to be kind, be the one to be accepting, be the one to be helpful. Even if nobody else is, you can be the one. And unfortunately, we're not able to continue that challenge. We usually pick a Be the One ambassador who is, all the teachers and principals write in about the cool things happening at their school. And that is not going to be able to happen this year. So we've created a new challenge and we're using the hashtag #BeTheOne2021. And we are challenging people to go out there and be kind and be helpful and understanding and, patient and standing up for things that are right, even if nobody else is. And so we're excited to see where that goes.
That's so good. And I thank you for sending that to me because I took the challenge as well. And I did make my pledge. And I am just very excited to be part of that movement.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, I would say a term that I use often is tip of the iceberg. And when I look at, if I can reflect on our brand, our brand started with this small little idea, and it was amazing how by telling one person, that person told 2 more people, and then it just kind of rippled and rippled and rippled. And even with the growth we have experienced over the last couple of years, I still always say we're right at the tip of the iceberg because there's so much to be done. And I would say what you've accomplished in the last, a very short period of time, you're still very much the tip of the iceberg. And there's such a need out there for people to get involved. And I guess I would just say before we kind of close, I just want to give you the mic one more time and just kind of share what's on your heart. And it's more sharing on how can we approach that? How can we pull people together to really collectively be part of this inclusive conversation?
That's a good question. I think it really does take people being willing to be vulnerable, and that's on both sides. that's for us who are within the special needs community. And that's also for the people that are on the outside kind of wanting to learn how to be inclusive, and knowing, knowing that they're not always going to say the right thing. They're not always going to do the right thing, but that we have a responsibility to offer grace and also, take opportunities to educate wherever they come, however uncomfortable they may be, and so I feel like for both sides, if we are willing, to learn, and we are offering each other grace in the process of learning, then good things come out of that,
Yeah. And to add to that, I think it's this piece of caring, and caring about one another. Somebody asked me recently, how I've created such a big following in so short amount of time, how we've gotten so many community members involved. And the answer is taking the time to care about one another and realizing that we all have things going on. If I'm driving on the road, ever since I've started this life, right? If I'm driving on the road and somebody cuts me off, I think it used to be like, right? Like, get out of my way, right? And like, you jerk. But now it's more of like, that person, maybe they have something going on. Maybe they just heard that their mom got diagnosed with cancer. You don't know what's going on in people's lives. And so always giving people that benefit of the doubt, always caring and realizing that we're all human beings who have feelings. We all want to be included. We all want to be loved, and taking that extra time to just check in with people and like, how are you doing? Oh, you had a rough day the other day. I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking of you. I mean, it's so important, and it means so much to people. And I think that's a huge part about what we do, which is so special to me.
Yeah. I'm reminded how, life just isn't easy. I mean, no matter how you cut it, I mean, there's definitely some good days, but there's also some challenging days.
Yeah.
And in those regards, I mean, life doesn't discriminate. I mean, everyone's got their challenges from across the board. I mean, but it's a matter of how we approach it. It really is. And attitude's a choice, but also we are so much stronger when we're part of a community and we have an association around us to build us up, build up the strengths, focusing on the strengths, covering the weaknesses, allowing ourselves to fail, but not fail in the spirit of being a failure, fail to fail forward. And when it's rooted in caring and rooted in love, I mean, there's nothing we can't accomplish.
Absolutely agree. Yep.
That's
why I'm glad we found each other. I knew we got the same heart.
Well, I am so appreciative that you guys reached out. I mean, it's such a joy, and it's such a joy to collaborate with you guys.
Yeah.
It's going to be really fun to see where our paths go.
I agree. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, Larkin, Jessica, thank you so much for your time today. This was such a pleasure. Everyone else that was listening in, this is another episode of Open Book. So we'll have another one next week. Until then, take care.
All right. Bye.